Hey, F5 community, and welcome to this Thanksgiving edition of DevCentral Connects. I'm your host for today, Aubrey King, and I hope it's not too much of a disappointment, but we are going to go a little off the script today and just talk a little bit about the holiday season, and I'm going to show you a couple of videos that you may not have seen regarding positions on healthcare. So real quick news, we did drop a podcast this week, this past week, called This Month in Security. If you haven't gone to see that yet, I should say hear that yet, it is over on soundcloud.com/F5security. This Month in Security is a partnership, if you don't know it, between DevCentral, F5 Labs, and F5 Security Incident Response Team. And it's sort of just a partnership to make sure that we keep our community up to date on the latest security news and also any security as it pertains to F5. Now, the theme this week is about gratitude. So the first thing that we're going to be showing here is a little piece on gratitude from our DevCentral team. And we're going to see some people that you may not see every day on the camera, but people that you may actually interact with on the community.f5.com site. So I guess before I do that, we have one teammate who was unable to make it. So I did want to share this with the community. So this is from Leslie, who is grateful to be part of the best team in the company and to have a job that gives her good work-life balance so she can spend time with her family and friends. And Leslie, I relayed it. I did more than that. I even showed it. So we have proof positive that Leslie is, in fact, grateful. And before I roll this wonderful clip, I did want to note that I am very grateful for Jason Rahm's wig today. Maybe we'll get a peek of that later if he feels like it. He's cracking me up backstage. Seriously, it's some fun stuff.
Hey there, community. I just wanted to jump on and let you know what I'm thankful for. Now, I'm in Canada, so it's not actually Thanksgiving this week. We've already had our Thanksgiving. Nonetheless, I still wanted to share. Now, you see myself, Peter, Aubrey, Jason, always in front of the camera. However, there's folks that you don't actually see that are behind the camera that are taking care of DevCentral as well. So I want to call out Leaf, Rebecca, and Leslie, and they're taking care of a lot of things behind the scenes. They're making sure the site is up and running and functioning and adding new features to the site. They're making sure that content is always available on the site as well, that it's fresh, and there's a constant flow of it. And they're making sure that questions are answered and people are engaging on DevCentral as well. So what they do is super important to the community. However, you don't always see them out in front of the camera. And so I just wanted to highlight them. I hope they have a great Thanksgiving week. And I hope everybody who's celebrating Thanksgiving this week has a great week as well. And if you're not celebrating anything this week, I still hope you have a great week.
What is up, DevCentral community? I'm Tony Hines, the director of DevCentral, and I am thankful for two things. I'm thankful for all of you, for the community, for everything that you do to help make us one of the best technical communities that are out there on the internet. And I'm also thankful for my team, the DevCentral team, of all of the great content that they provide. This couldn't be a great community without all of their help and support. So happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Hey, F5 community, with Thanksgiving week here, I wanted to take a moment to talk about some things that I'm grateful for with respect to some communities that I'm involved in. First, as an Eagles fan, I'd like to say that I'm thankful for, 8-0 starts, even if they end when they really shouldn't have. As an F5er, I'm really thankful for my team who teaches me so much every day about how to be better at what I do for my community, which brings me to being very thankful for my community and all the help that DevCentral has given me through the years. I would not be the person I am today. I would not have the job that I have today without DevCentral at the very beginning. So thank you so much, DevCentral community. I am thankful for you. Have a happy Thanksgiving.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Maloney. I'm the content manager for DevCentral, and I've got a couple of things that I'm thankful for. The first one being, I'm very grateful that the Seattle Kraken are on a hot streak lately. They've been winning a lot of games, so I've got a good feeling about it. Number two, I'm grateful for this upcoming weekend that I get to spend with my friends and family. And I'm always the one who makes the turkey, and so I'm really excited to do that. And the third one is that I'm just really grateful to be in the DevCentral community with all of you and to be able to help out and serve the community in the best way I can. So thanks to everybody who is involved and likes and comments and shares and reads the content. I hope you have a good Thanksgiving holiday. Thank you. Bye-bye.
On this fine Tuesday morning in Southern Illinois, I'm thankful for time. Midnight may be the official start of each day, but at sunrise, the day is made anew. Dawn ushers in the light of day, and with it, opportunity. Time is the great equalizer. Everyone gets the same 86,400 seconds. As I age, I realize with each sunrise how precious time really is. As we break here in the United States for the Thanksgiving holiday, I'm going to reflect on the blessing of time and how I might make the most of it to be a force for family, faith, and fun, a force for technology and security, and of course, I'd be remiss if I left out being a force for a community.
Hey there. See, I'm grateful for the trust we have on the team and in the community at large. Whenever we make something, change something, share something, we're almost always doing it with each other in mind, and that just makes a better community. We trust that we're doing the right thing. We trust it will help somebody else. If we didn't have that, it wouldn't be as good, I think, and it's good. So thanks.
It has been said that the key to happiness is gratitude. So I'd like to take you through what I do every day in my way of expressing gratitude. You can replace names as you see fit if you'd like to play along. And so every day I say, I am grateful for my family, our kiddo, our poochies, my spirit guides, Amakuas, guardian angels, and I name some of those. I'm grateful for our shelter, sustenance, work job, income insurance, for sure, keeping us safe and healthy. And then I specifically tell my wife, I am grateful for our life, love, and laughter. And on this week, I am obviously and certainly grateful to all of you in the DevCentral community. Express your gratitude today, and no matter how cold it gets, your heart will still be warm.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that. That was something pretty special. And now for something else that is pretty special.
Good morning.
Jason, morning. How you doing?
I am fantastic. You know, I know it's not the faux hawk that you were hoping for, but I thought I could do one better and go Ronald McDonald on you. So,
well, thank you. I really, I just wanted to bring you out to show the community this wonderful wig and give my thanks to it. So happy Thanksgiving, Jason.
Happy Thanksgiving to you, Aubrey. Happy Thanksgiving to you, community. And I look forward to the other side of the weekend, being back with you all.
Alrighty. We'll see you soon, man. Okay. With that in mind, I wanted to move on to our next quick segment here. Now, I wanted to show when we put this show together, I talked a little bit about hey, why don't we do these healthcare articles that I put out? It's something that the community may not have actually seen, and also it seems to be something that we all are fairly thankful for, and that is healthcare. So one of the things that we have focused on a bit recently at F5 is really trying to bolster, I guess, our visibility within the healthcare community, and as such, we were asked to participate in a podcast. And this is some of the video that I had with Mr. Gary New. So I am also very grateful to know this
Hello
guy.
and welcome. I'm Aubrey King with DevCentral, F5's community resource site. I'm here today with Gary New, Vice President of Product Management, and we're here to talk a little bit about our views on the healthcare operations perspectives today. Gary, how are you doing today?
I'm well, Aubrey. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for asking. I'm going to be watching some football tonight, and really can't complain.
Well, the Seahawks lost yesterday, so I'm pretty upset about that.
Well, there will be other Sundays. So, can you, I guess, for the viewers, could you tell us a little bit about what it is you do day to day for F5?
Sure, thank you. So I've been at F5 for about 15 years, but I've worked in cybersecurity for well over 20 years. Starting from back in the day configuring firewalls all the way up to today where we're building security products for our customers. And that's my passion. My passion has always been cybersecurity. I think from the moment I saw the movie Hackers, I think it was 1995 or 96, I think it came out. That was like, that's what I want to be. I want it. Never mind the rollerblading, never mind the cool haircuts, because obviously I have no hair. But that's what I wanted to be. I wanted to do something in computers and cybersecurity. So, and here we are.
Fantastic. What would you say your team's top priorities are at the moment?
Sure. Yeah. So my team works in the distributed cloud part of F5, where we're kind of building some new areas for our customers and expanding how they can become more secure, but do it in an easy way and do it in a more effective way. And one of the big initiatives we've worked on this year is we've called it One WAF, which is actually taking our different web application firewall solutions and combining them into a more easily deployed, easily consumed service for our customers. And that's important because security is only works if it's deployed. And there was a time if you wanted to deploy proper application security, you needed a degree in application security. And the last I checked, I don't think there's any schools offering degrees in application security. So it's quite difficult to build this effective security into your organization. Never mind then now we have to deal with DevOps and containers and agile development and everything like that. It's becoming more and more complex. So we're trying to simplify that for all of our customers and everyone who wants to look at F5 products.
Well, that makes great sense to me. I mean, if you take a look at the long-standing pedigree that F5 has had with WAF, and then you take a look at some of the newer WAFs that have found themselves in the portfolio via acquisition of late, it really makes sense that we would bring our deployment mechanisms together and work towards central management and things of that nature. What would you say would be kind of the next things that your team are looking for? What would you say is kind of the future for what you're looking at here?
So before I answer that question, just you mentioned that we've been doing this for a long time. So we actually have been doing web application security for almost 20 years. Okay, that's 2 decades. Like that's a long time. That's almost as long as my oldest child has been on this planet for. So it's nothing new for us. But the next step has to be focusing on API security. APIs, as we know, are a huge part of life today. We might not know it, but if you open up an app on your phone, you're using APIs to communicate with the back end of that system. Okay, so they are becoming they're the standard for web communications now going forward. So it's not just a web page that you use, it's a combination of APIs to deliver all that information to you. So we need to build a way for our kind of following the one WAF mindset and simplification goals. We need to do something similar with APIs.
When you say 20 years,
yes,
I'm wondering, could we clarify what that means? Is that going back to the Magnifier acquisition, or do we go back even further and we talk about iRules being used for zero-day exploits in HTTP streams?
Well, you could go back even further to iRules and everything like that as well. But it was about 20 years. It was actually 19 years ago, I think, when F5 acquired Magnifier, which was one of the first web application firewalls in the market.
So a couple weeks back, I was talking with a couple of solution engineers here at F5 because some of my counterparts and I went to Black Hat. And one of the things that we found there was that the hot topic, by far the hottest topic at Black Hat this year, was API security. Not even web app and API security, but API security. And it kind of boggled my mind seeing all these new companies that you've never heard of out in the forefront saying we're leaders in API security. And it's interesting. We wanted to calculate how long F5 has been in the API security business. And what it came out to is 15 years. I mean, if you go back to, what was it, TMOS 924 or something like that, when we introduced an XML firewall.
I remember that.
To the world. That was really, for me, when I feel we started going out to our customers explicitly saying, API security is a thing. It's something that we really need to take account of, and to make sure that we're defending in the same ways that we're defending our websites. So since we're here talking about healthcare today in specific, would you say that API security is one of those hot topics for healthcare today? One of the things that they should really be keeping an eye on?
Oh, absolutely. So, I mean, if you think back to when we had that XML firewall, and it was a pretty simple matter to secure that. You would upload your WSDL, which is a web services descriptor language file that was spit out of your IDE, and you would put that on the WAF, and you would be protected. It would only allow everything that was on that. But typically back then, APIs were really only used for either configuring things or for maybe data exchanges, small data exchanges between systems. They weren't as ubiquitous as they are now. Now, if you look at kind of any environment, it could be healthcare, could be communications, could be cars, could be anything. But you've got all of these different devices communicating to each other over APIs. So if you take a healthcare situation, you're probably going to have your RIS-PAC systems for digital imagery communicating via APIs, maybe to your system, to your patient information system. You may have other systems within the environment communicating as well. You could have doctors' offices communicating via APIs to the maybe the hospital system that contains some patient tests or things like that. You have got outsourced laboratories who are performing blood tests and things like that. So all of this data is transferred via APIs. So it is critically important to secure that. And I don't think anyone listening today would deny that fact. I mean, it is absolutely critically important. But the issue is now APIs are, let's say, easier to deploy and easy to build. So now it's become, the difficulty is not how do I secure my APIs, is, well, how do I know what APIs I have? And how do I know what data is traversing those APIs? And that's become a big issue. We've seen the growth of shadow APIs in customers. And that's a term that we're starting to use to describe these APIs that may be functional, but may not be sanctioned. They may be sanctioned, but maybe you just don't know what endpoints they're running on. So the problem just gets bigger and bigger.
I would think that kind of the average person watching this video would think that things like the patient portal would be the hot spot to watch to make sure that there are no breaches. Now, would you say that defense of patient portals is probably also still a hot topic insofar as the healthcare industry is concerned today as well?
Absolutely. I think most people, myself included, when you think about protecting, applications, the first thing is the portal. What does the consumer use, or in this case, the patient? What does the patient see? But you've got multiple portals. You've got the portal for the patient. You've got the portal for the provider. You've got the portal for the contractor. You've got the portal for the equipment, maybe manufacturer. So there's lots of different areas where there could be potential breaches or issues. But the portal is very important. And I think that the difference between portals before and portals now is that a lot of time the portals now are made up of APIs as well. So you've got a situation where if you are, looking, you open your let's say the one I'm familiar with is my chart. I open up my chart on my phone in the app. And it's pulling information from different systems. I can see it because I kind of have a view and I understand kind of how these applications work. But to the untrained eye, it just looks like a web page in the application. Clearly, it's not. So you do have to provide protection on that, because that is one place where the data can leak. But I think the growth of these different data exchanges between different systems, it's probably easier to steal data there than it would be to go through the portal.
I think for the rest of that video, you guys are going to have to check that out on youtube.com/DevCentral. So in the interest of time, we're going to move forward, and I want to bring you another clip of a great guy who I'm very grateful for, my friend and mentor, Mr. Brian McHenry. So similar to what Gary was talking about with the ops perspective, this one goes into what the CISO might have as a perspective in healthcare today. Hello and welcome. I'm Aubrey King from DevCentral at F5, and today I'm joined by Brian McHenry, who is our Vice President of Big IP and NGINX Security. Brian, how are you today?
I'm great, Aubrey. Good to be spending time with you once again.
Agreed. A little bit of a different format. Used to be out in the field, and now here we are behind cameras.
All grown up.
That's right. That's right. And so today I think we're going to be talking a little bit about how the healthcare industry is impacted by modern security threats today. And specifically, you were going to talk about how that impacts the C-suite. That's correct, yes?
Yeah, I really want to talk about the CISO or Chief Security Officer perspective on how to manage risks and how to maybe some perspectives on what these threats are and what kind of risks they expose, and certain key areas to focus on to help mitigate and reduce the risk.
Well, with your position, I think it seems fairly clear that you must have a pretty big bird's eye view of the industry as a whole. So what do you see as the most pressing threats to the healthcare industry today?
Well, in my role at F5, I'm responsible for leading our security strategy on those big IP and NGINX security solutions for our deployable products. And we spend a lot of time thinking about everything our customers face with regard to new and emerging threats, or even old ones that need new types of mitigations or countermeasures. And I stay rooted, even though I'm on the product side now. I really stay rooted in my customer background and my technical sales background, where I was a fierce customer advocate, or at least I like to think I was fierce. And as I look at and talk to CISOs, we recently had a customer advisory board with a group of CISOs, and we're about to have another one. One of the things I hear about is ransomware. And obviously this is high profile. It's in the news a lot. But in particular, healthcare providers are being targeted. Hospitals, in particular, are being held ransom. It's become a truly life or death situation in many cases, where hospital administrators might be locked out of their workstations and be unable to properly monitor the health of patients, or something even worse when it comes to medical device security, where someone's life may actually be on the line. So I can't imagine a much more stressful position than CISO in many cases, but CISO of a healthcare institution has got to be sort of the peak stress level position. So the more information we can put in the hands of our valued customers and our stakeholders in the healthcare industry, as far as mitigating threats, the better.
Boy, I would imagine that that the ransoms could get fairly sizable for some of these hospital systems. I mean, if you're let's say a bad actor that has had an opportunity to infect an entire hospital system, or a good chunk of it, boy, that would be, as you said, very difficult for a CISO to be able to deal with.
Yeah, absolutely. So there have been documented cases where tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars been demanded in ransom. And the trouble with ransomware is, even if you pay the money, there's no guarantee that they'll unlock your systems or release your data. In fact, sometimes they're so incompetent that even if they give you the keys, the crypto keys to unlock the data that they've locked up, or the systems that they've locked up, it might not work. because it's not like anybody's QAing the ransomware software to make sure it works the way it's supposed to. So, paying the ransom isn't even a guarantee. And so there's a lot of good advice out there in terms of making sure you're backed up, making sure you can recover your data and you don't need to pay the ransom. But there's other things we can do to make sure we don't get to that position in the first place, right? So it's good to have the insurance plan in terms of make sure if I have been infected, I have a way to recover, and you should always have that in place. But there's some other things you should do as far as, ransomware is just a very particular type of malware. So, important that you realize, when you're making your plans, that ransomware isn't something, special it's a new class of malware, really. So you really just got to, bone up your malware prevention activities. And there's a wide range of things that should be done to lessen the risk of malware infection in any given environment, but especially healthcare environments.
So with ransomware, have we found that, or are you seeing that it may be more effective to deal with ransomware, say, at the systems level, at the edge level, out in the cloud, or a combination of all three?
It's always defense in depth, and in fact, the first place to deal with ransomware and malware, the first layer of defense, in my view, and in some people's views, maybe the weakest link is actually at the human interface level. There's a lot of varying opinions on security awareness training, but I think a lot of those opinions that tend toward the negative really might be from people who don't realize that not everybody's tech savvy, and we have a lot of valuable workers in all our organizations who contribute in a variety of ways, but most pervasively have access to computers and the internet. So the first line of defense: educate your users and educate them on a regular basis. It's not a one and done type of thing. It's not a new employee onboarding activity. It's a quarterly activity or a monthly activity where you roll out consumable bite-sized awareness training that can enable even the average non-technical or non-tech savvy user to identify when they've been targeted and when something might be unsafe. And so get everybody thinking in that sort of security mindset, and putting, owning their part of, keeping the organization secure. So that's the first line of defense for sure.
So what about beyond awareness training? What other kinds of things are proving to be fairly effective?
So, the number one thing in any kind of security program, no matter what you're trying to fight, malware or otherwise, is to track the data paths. How does data get in and out of your infrastructure? So if you have, edge layer security, through a content delivery network or something of that nature, certainly look into what you have there. Make sure, you've got inspection tools in your DMZ that are able to inspect encrypted traffic. HTTPS is 80+% of the internet now. So even if you're, blocking all the, usual ports, but you're letting HTTPS in and or out of your network, that's an encrypted tunnel. Make sure you have visibility tools in place so that, your next gen firewall, your IPS intrusion prevention systems, your malware detection systems, make sure that they have visibility to the traffic that's encrypted.
I think those are definitely important words from the man himself, Mr. Brian McHenry. Okay, that brings us up to the end of our show this week. If you want to see the rest of that piece, you can definitely take a look and find that on youtube.com/DevCentral. One other quick announcement from me before heading out for the week and getting to, I think brining my turkey that I'm going to put in my smoker. That's right, you heard it first here. I'm going to be smoking a gigantic turkey for the first time ever. We'll see how that works out. But this announcement is, last night I also was able to push the button on getting us another podcast for DevCentral Connects. So there will be some changes coming up in this show. I think you're going to see some cool things in the coming weeks. I think you've seen some things that were really cool this past week. If you missed it, really check out Jason Rom's live iRules coding session that happened this past week. That, to me, was some of the most special stuff that we've done in quite some time. And the community really responded. Number of views on that was through the roof. So we're glad you like the content. We hear you, and we're going to keep it coming. Without further ado, I'm Aubrey, and, thank you for tuning in, and have
a great F5 day.
Well, thanks for checking out that video. If you have any questions, leave a comment down below. While you're down there, hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. You might want to check out one of these videos over here. And if you haven't already, go check out community.f5.com. This is where all the DevCentral Connects hosts hang out, as well as the rest of the community. It's free to sign up, and we'll see you there.